Hi everyone. People have been asking me. I've been telling people I've gone paperless with all my records now, and I thought I would tell you guys how I do it, how my workflow works. The reason I went paperless was I was getting knee deep in paper. I was thinking of getting a filing cabinet and getting a new printer and all this, and then I thought, well, that's crazy. I don't want to create more paper. I want to create less paper, and then I've known that some people have gone paperless. So I thought I'd give it a try, and a book had come out just last year called Paperless by David Sparks, and in it he describes step-by-step ways to achieve paperlessness through your computer, and just a couple of software tools and a dedicated document scanner. You can do that quite relatively easy. So I thought I'd give you the steps that I went through, just a quick overview.
Okay, so this is the snap scan. Or scan snap. I keep saying either scan snap or snap scan, but it's scan snap. Very compact, as you can see. Very lightweight. Now, of course, this is why get a document feeder? I already have, as you see underneath it, it's resting on my HP scanner and printer. But the scanners on these printers are very slow. They're only one-sided, and if you're going to do a lot of documents, what you want to do if you're going to go paperless, you're going to have to scan some documents. You want that to be as fast and quick as possible. So this is a scanner that is dedicated to actual document scanning. So it can also scan pictures, but it's mostly for document scanning because it can scan both sides at once, and also the software comes with it is dedicated to creating PDFs. That's what you want to do in a paperless workflow. So here I have a receipt, just a Whole Foods receipt, that I want to get into my receipt folder inside of my filing system. So I have to scan it in. Now I can scan it both ways because it does, as I say, scan both sides, but I want the first page to be, I set it up so the first page is what is known as OCR, so that it can read. The PDF will have, everything here will be actual text that I can copy and the computer can recognize, and as I'll talk about later, that will be crucial for the file system. So I want to go this side, so whatever's facing first will be the first page. And you just fit it in here. It's a little difficulty one of these long ones, but I'll hold my finger on it, and you just scan this way. Well, sometimes it gets a little sideways, but it doesn't matter because the scan snap software straightens everything out. So even if it kind of goes on a diagonal, it will still straighten everything out through the software. So we'll go over to the computer and see what that did.
Okay, so we've scanned in the document from our ScanSnap. The Whole Foods receipt is there over here. And as you can see, it didn't just scan it as a picture, it scanned it as actual text. So this is all individual text, like melon cantaloupe. If I copy that, that would come out melon cantaloupe on anything I paste it into. Now this is important later on when we want to automate some of this filing stuff. But for now, I'll show you what happens. So I have it set up so that ScanSnap, this is the file. There you can see a little quick view of it. I've told it to go into what I've called the action folder. And this action folder is where I deal with anything that comes in, anything that I scan or turn into a PDF on my computer. Goes into this folder for which I have to deal with. Now, for this, I haven't set up anything automatic for something for Whole Foods. It just doesn't happen that often that warrants to be automated. So I have to tell it what it is. But instead of just dragging and dropping this into a folder, I have what is called this program called Hazel. Two programs I'm actually using. One called Hazel and one called Text Expander. And I'll show you Text Expander first. Text Expander is just a way of doing snippets. Here's Text Expander. Doing shortcut snippets for anything I want to, any kind of typing that I do over and over again. So if I want to rename, and by the way, it's important to rename a document the same way all the time, so that, and there's a nomenclature involved in this, that you should put a date and then, you know, a quick name of what the contents of the actual file is. So Text Expander, I have a little thing code for the date one, so it's or for a receipt, and what it is semicolon REC, and then up pops this Text Expander field. So see here, 2013-02 February-10, and then space dash space, and then the name of it. So I'll just put in Whole Foods. I won't put in all the things I bought in Whole Foods. Just Whole Foods is sufficient. And then also this pop-up menu is Amex, Visa, debit, cash, or gift card. I tell the receipt, or tell it in the name of how I paid for it. So it was an Amex, and I say OK. Now here's the thing where Hazel comes in. This is another program. I'll bring that in here. This is Hazel, and I'll show you what that means in a second. As you see, the file's now disappeared. What Hazel does is, I'll show you, for receipts, and I have various rules. Hazel has rules for this particular folder in action, so that whenever a file goes in there, and that's rule for Amex, for instance, if the name ends with Amex receipt, which I did when I changed the name to it, suddenly it became that, then I told it to move it to the receipts folder, sort it into a subfolder of the date created, sort it into another subfolder for the month that it was created, reveal and finder, which means just pop up and show me where it landed, and also set color to it so I can tell that every American Express receipt I use will be color coded red. And this is what it looks like here. So this is all my receipts. So there's just nested folders as my records. So it goes records, personal and work, so personal, banking, receipts, 2013, second month, and there's all my receipts for the second month, and everything in red is our Amex. And there's my Whole Food one. Okay, so now we're looking at it on the view of the computer screen of what happens when I scan a document, my RRSP. And I'll do it again on my snap scan. So this is my action folder. This is where it will scan to. But it will quickly file itself. Hazel will do its work, and it will file itself in my tax receipts 2013, which is exactly where I want it to go. So here we go, scanning. There it is there. Watch quickly. And soon enough, there it goes. It goes from my action folder all the way to my tax receipts 2013, and has actually renamed itself RRSP. It says 1 because I already have the same document here. I've already scanned it. This is just a test. So it's, it sees it as the same one, so it just gives it another number, but same idea. So how did that happen? So this is the amazing part of Hazel, and let me bring Hazel into the works here. What Hazel does is, where's my tax receipt? So there's tax receipts. Or no, sorry, RRSP. So every time I scan an RRSP, now I do it once a year, and we'll always keep doing it for once a year, so I have a rule for it. Now remember that when the ScanSnap scans, it also does OCR, which means, let me get the document over here again. bring that over. See, every letter can be read by the computer, so the computer can read in there what is in the document. So I don't have to rename this one. All I have to do is scan it, and Hazel will take care of the rest. So I've given it a rule that if any of the if the contents contain, and these are the contents of the letter of this inside the document, contains the word placement CIBC, do the following. And there, in all and only my RRSP documents, is this word come up, the placement CIBC. So it says, okay, this document does have it. What do you want me to do with it? And I tell it to move it to the text folder, rename it with date created. So right in here, edit date pattern, date created. And of course, I only get one a year, so I only needed to tell it the year. I don't need to tell it the month or the day, just the year. And then slash RRSP plus the extension, which is .pdf. Then sort into a subfolder of date created, which is, again, the year. So each year, as I scan that, next year when I scan it, it will create a folder called 2014. So I don't even have to create the folders. It creates its folder itself, and then we'll place it inside that folder. And then in the end, reveal it in Finder, as I say, because I like to see that I make sure that it actually did follow the rules correctly. So that's how it does it. So in cases like that, where I get in that same, with bills or anything that I get in the mail that I can scan on a regular basis, it will automatically know where to put that in my filing system. Okay. Okay, that's my paperless workflow. As you can see, it's once you have it up and going, it took me about a couple of days to get that all together. And you're going to spend a little bit of money. The scanner is about $250 at NCIX. Software probably came up to be about another $100 on top of that with all the various software. So it's a fair amount of money to put into it, but in the long run, I think it will be worth it. And certainly now, I hardly even think about it. It just takes me a few seconds to file away a document in my system without even thinking about it, either having to scan it or from my email. But the most important thing, though, if you're going to do this, is to back up. Of course, you should be backing up your computer anyways. If you have a Mac, absolutely use Time Machine. It comes with the Mac. It's free. There's no reason not to use it. And I think an external hard drive, you can get a 2 terabyte external hard drive for $100 now. And it will continually back up all the time. It will back up every half hour, then every day, and then every week, and then every month, and every year. So you're always going to have a backup. Plus, if you lose just a single file, you can just go back in time and grab that file when you find it back using the Time Machine. And then I also have what is known as a super duper clone of my machine. So that's another external hard drive I have, another $100. And what that does is if my hard drive does die on this computer, I can just plug the external super duper drive into the computer and boot up from it. So right away, so that just in case I need to do something right away, I don't have to wait to go get my computer fixed. I can get it up and running. And one last thing, I have an online service I use to back up everything too, called, I think it's called Crash Plan. And it's just like Carbonite or Mozy. The same idea. You upload everything. I probably will never use it, but it is good because all my other backups are on site, so if there is like fire or flooding or something like that, at least I do have a final option to retrieve all my records. Because that's a lot of work to put all those records in. If you lose them, they're gone forever. So, but of course, the great thing about digitalizing it is that they're very easy to copy and make copies, and so that if there was a fire, my paper copies would be gone. It'd be non-retrievable. Whereas here, I have this option to have a backup. And security is another thing. You might want to also encrypt some of your folders, like your tax folders, stuff like that. It's all in the paperless book that I mentioned, because some of those are pretty sensitive stuff. You don't want anyone to take a look at it, especially if your computer gets stolen. You may want to make sure that they can't get at certain folders or files. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it.